It was silence that terrified most. No wind, no howling storm. Only the crunch of their boots and the faint rattle of Myra's breath. The city was a tomb, sealed in its own frozen stillness. They scavenged what they could. Jonas pried open vending machines with the butt of his shotgun, only to find shattered glass and frozen sludge. Mira found a pharmacy stripped bare, bottles shattered across the floor like teeth. But Silas struck luck. In a collapsed corner store, he unearthed a stash. 2 tins of beans, sealed and heavy. He held them up, grinning with a predator's satisfaction. "Look what I found." The others stared, hunger sharpening their eyes. "Share it," Jonas said, stepping forward. Silas's hand tightened around the tins. "I found them." Myra's stomach clenched. She remembered the last tin, how they had licked the rust. She could already taste beans on her tongue. "Silas," Jonas growled, "we share everything." "What?" Silas shot back. "Why should I break bread with a lot of you when I'm the one keeping us alive?" Myra's voice cracked. "Because if you don't, you'll have 4 of us to deal with instead of 1. The silence that followed was heavy. Jonas's hand drifted toward the shotgun. Finally, Silas sneered and tossed 1 tin into the snow. "Half. For now." He pocketed the other. They ate cold beans by the handful, the taste metallic and glorious. Mira nearly wept at the feel of food in her mouth, though it only sharpened her hunger. Jonas's glare never left Silas. That night, the sound returned. They camped in the husk of an office tower, their fire flickering against cracked walls. Mira lay half asleep when she heard it again, steady, slow breathing, deeper than any of theirs. She sat up, her heart pounding. Jonas stirred beside her. "You hear it too?" she whispered. He frowned, listening. The silence stretched, then there was again. A long exhale, drawn from the depths of the building. Jonas's eyes hardened. He gripped his shotgun, motioned for silence. The others woke one by one. Silas sat up, axe in hand. Kara was already staring at the darkness, smiling faintly. "They've come inside," Kara whispered. "They'll want one of us tonight." "Shut your mouth," Jonas hissed. But none of them slept. They sat in the firelight, listening to the sound of something breathing just beyond sight. The next day, mistrust bloomed like rot. They scoured the city blocks, but food remained scarce. When Mira turned her back, she caught Silas pocketing something, a small packet unmarked. "What was that?" she snapped. "Nothing," Silas said too quickly. Jonas stepped in. "Show us." Silas's jaw flexed. He opened his coat, revealing the packet, dried meat, wrapped in wax paper. Myra's stomach growled loud enough for them all to hear. "You bastard," Jonas snarled. "I found it," Silas spat. "I deserve it." Jonas raised his shotgun. The group froze, the air thick as ice. For a moment, Mira thought he would pull the trigger. She almost wanted him to, but then Kara laughed, the sound thin and sharp. "Kill him and you'll waste the meat. Kill him and you'll waste everything." The tension broke, but only barely. Jonas shoved Silas back, ripping the packet from his hands. He divided the dried meat into 4 equal strips, tossing Silas's portion last. "Try that again," Jonas growled, "and you'll be the one left for the snow." Silas's eyes smoldered, but he said nothing. Mira chewed her strips slowly, swallowing hard. It was tough, salty, and beautiful, but even as it slid down her throat, she realized hunger was no longer their greatest enemy. On the 17th night, Mira woke to whispers. At first she thought it was Kara again, muttering into the dark. But then she realized the voice was close, too close. She froze. Silas's shadow loomed beside her. "What are you doing?" she whispered. His hand clamped over her mouth. Quiet. Her heart hammered. His breath stank of rot and beans. He leaned close, voice low. "Jonas isn't fit to lead us. He'll get us killed. But you see sense. You know what has to be done." She shook her head violently. "Think about it," Silas hissed. "When food runs out again, who do you trust to keep you alive? Him with his morals? Or me, He pulled away before Jonas stirred, slipping back in a shadow. Mira le trembling, wie der Riesing in Herterot. When she finally glanced across the fire, Kara was watching, her cracked lips curling into a knowing smile. The city grew stranger the deeper they went. Buildings leaned impossibly, as though drawn toward some unseen center. Frost-coated walls and patterns like veins, branching outward, pulsing faintly in dim light. Once, Mira thought she saw a figure moving behind shattered glass, a pale outline, gone in a blink. No one spoke of it, but the breathing grew louder. By the 18th day, it followed them openly, echoing through alleys, rattling from pipes beneath their feet. Sometimes it came from behind, sometimes ahead. Always steady, never hurried. Jonas gripped his shotgun tighter each day. Silas swung his axe against walls whenever the sound grew close, as if trying to hack the air itself. Kara only smiled, whispering lullabies into the snow. On the 19th night, they found blood. They had camped in a subway station, its tunnels stretching into frozen dark. The firelight licked across shattered tiles, casting long shadows. When Mira rose to piss, she noticed it, a smear on the wall, dark and frozen, flaking beneath her touch. Blood long dried, but beneath it, fresher, gleaming wet in the firelight. She followed it down the tunnel. The smear became a trail, thick and uneven. It ended at a mound of snow and ice, shaped vaguely human. Myra's breath froze in her chest. She leaned closer. The mound cracked open. A face stared back at her. Skin pale, lips blue, eyes frozen wide. Not Eli, not anyone she knew, but the chest rose. Fell. Rose again. She screamed. Jonas came running, shotgun raised. Silas followed, Kara close behind, smiling as though she'd been waiting for this. The mound moved, ice shattering as the figure inside stirred. Its jaw cracked open, releasing a sound that wasn't breath, wasn't voice. Something between the two. Jonas fired. The blast echoed through the tunnels, deafening. The mound collapsed. The figure stilled, but the breathing didn't stop. It came from deeper in the tunnels now, louder, closer, surrounding them. They fled into the city night, their fire abandoned. The breathing followed. Chapter 4, Splintered Voices. The city swallowed them. They ran until their legs buckled, until frost clawed at their throats, until Mira thought her lungs would shatter. The sound pursued them, breathing, vast and steady, threading through alleys and echoing off towers. Sometimes it came from behind, sometimes ahead. Sometimes it seemed to come from inside their own chests. When they finally stopped, huddled in the shell of a theater, no one spoke. The silence between them was thicker than the dark. Jonas slumped against the wall, shotgun resting across his knees. His face looked carved from ice, eyes bloodshot, jaw clenched. Mira sat beside him, shivering violently, her hands raw and cracked. Silas paced the ruined rows of seats, axe clutched tight, eyes darting from shadow to shadow. "It's not real," he muttered. "It's the wind in the tunnels, nothing more." Kara laughed softly from the corner, her breath misting in the dim. "You can't deny it forever. The snow sings and the city breathes. You hear it as I do." "Shut up," Silas snapped, but she only smiled. The next morning, or what passed for it beneath the bruised gray sky, they moved again. Jonas led, Mira close at his side. Silas lagged behind, muttering curses into his beard. Kara drifted, humming tunelessly, her eyes distant. The city felt wrong. Streets twisted where maps said they should not. Towers leaned unnaturally, their angles disorienting. Mira swore she saw doorways shift as they passed, frames narrower, wider, as though the city itself was breathing with them. No one admitted it aloud, but every glance carried suspicion. By the 20th day, food had dwindled again. They found scraps, half a bag of frozen rice, gnawed by rats long dead. A single can of peaches, bulging with rot. Jonas portioned carefully, but it wasn't enough. Hunger chewed at them, made their movements clumsy, their words sharp. That night, Silas tried again. Mira woke to find him crouched beside her, eyes glittering in the firelight. His whisper slid into her ear. "Jonas will get you killed. He wastes food, wastes bullets. He'll bury us all for the sake of some imagined morality." Mira recoiled. "Stop. You know I'm right." His hand brushed her wrist. "We could survive, you and I, together. The others, they're weak. Dead weight." Her stomach lurched at his touch, his words. Yet something inside her stirred too. The part that remembered the gnawing emptiness in her belly, the way Jonas had buried Eli instead of listening to reason. Silas leaned closer. "Think about it." He pulled back into the shadow. Mira lay rigid until dawn, heart pounding with a rhythm she no longer trusted. The 21st day broke them further. They stumbled upon another corpse, half frozen in an alley, its limbs twisted unnaturally. Not old, this one. Days, maybe hours. The skin still pliant, the eyes glazed but intact. Jonas motioned them past. "Don't touch it." But Silas lingered. His gaze devoured the body, jaw flexing. "We could," he began. Myra's stomach turned. She knew what he meant before he said it. Jonas snapped. "We don't eat people. People." Silas's laugh was bitter. "That thing stopped being a person long before we found it. It's meat. Meat means life." Kara clapped her hands softly, giggling. "Yes, the snow feeds us." One by one, Jonas raised his shotgun. "Step away, Silas." The air burned with tension. Silas's grip tightened on his axe. For a heartbeat, Mira thought blood would spill right there, their fragile rope finally snapping. But Silas backed off, eyes smoldering. "You're killing us all," he muttered. They left the body behind, but Mira kept glancing back, bile and hunger warring in her gut. That night, the breathing returned louder than ever. They camped in an office tower's lobby, their fire a meager glow. The sound came from above this time, deep, cavernous inhalations rattling the ceiling. The air vibrated with each exhale. Jonas clutched his shotgun, eyes locked on the stairwell. Silas hefted his axe, muttering curses. Mira pressed her hands to her ears, but it did nothing. The sound wasn't just heard. It was felt, vibrating through bone. Kara only swayed, eyes closed, whispering. "It's closer now. It's almost here." "Quiet," Jonas snapped, but his voice cracked. They didn't sleep. The next day brought betrayal. Mira woke to find the last of their rice gone. Jonas raged, scouring packs, demanding answers. Silas stood apart, chewing slowly. His lips glistened with starch. Jonas raised the shotgun. "You bastard. You'd have wasted it," Silas spat. "Dragging us further, chasing some city that's nothing but graves. This city is all we have left." Jonas roared. Then we're already dead. The standoff hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Myra's throat burned with words she couldn't say. She wanted Jonas to fire, to end it, but she also wanted Silas's promise of survival, of ruthless certainty. Kara broke the silence with a laugh. "The snow's already chosen who'll feed who. You're just too stubborn to see." Jonas turned the gun on her. For a heartbeat, Mira thought he might silence Kara instead, but his hand shook and the barrel lowered. "Move," Jonas growled. They moved, but nothing was the same. On the 22nd day, Mira saw them. They were crossing a plaza, statues shattered beneath ice, when she glanced up at a building's broken windows. Figures stood there, 3 of them, pale, motionless, their outlines blurred by frost. Her breath hitched. "Jonas, look." But when he turned, the windows were empty. "Nothing," Jonas said. "No, Lisa." "Your mind's slipping," Silas muttered. But Mira knew what she'd seen. She knew the city wasn't empty. That night, she couldn't sleep. Kara whispered across the fire, voice too soft for Jonas or Silas to hear. "You saw them, didn't you?" Myra's skin prickled. "Saw who?" The ones the snow keeps. Kara's smile glowed in the firelight, cracked lips bleeding. They watch us. They wait. Soon they'll open their mouths, and we'll breathe with them. Myra's chest tightened. She turned away, clutching her knees to her chest. But long after the fire burned low, she still felt Kara's eyes on her. On the 23rd day, everything broke. They woke to find Jonas gone. His shotgun lay abandoned beside the ashes of their fire. Tracks, Silas muttered, pointing to footprints leading into the snow. Myra's stomach dropped. He wouldn't just leave. He's lost it, Silas said coldly. He's gone to join whatever's breathing out there. Liar, Mira snapped. But even as she said it, doubt curdled inside her. Kara only smiled. The snow called him. Now it calls us. They followed the tracks anyway, deeper into the hollow city. The footprints led them into a subway entrance, down crumbling stairs into blackness. The air was thick, heavy with frost. And then they heard it, breathing, louder than ever, echoing through the tunnels, rattling their chests. Mira froze. Her blood turned to ice. The sound wasn't just around them. It was beneath them. The ground trembled with each inhale. And in the dark, something moved. Chapter 5, Beneath the Ice. The subway swallowed them whole. The stairs descended into blackness, their steps echoing like drones. Frost coated the walls in thick veins, glittering faintly in the dim glow of their scavenged lantern. The air was heavier here, thick with a dampness Mira hadn't felt in years. Each breath condensed instantly, clinging to the stone ceiling like sweat. The breathing grew louder. It pulsed through the tunnels, reverberating in their bones. Each inhale dragged like a mountain shifting. Each exhale rolled like distant thunder. Jonas's footprints led deeper, his boots pressed into frost-soft earth. Sometimes the tracks wavered, staggering against walls, as though he had stumbled. Myra's stomach twisted. Jonas had been strong, steady. He wouldn't wander. He wouldn't leave them, unless something had drawn him down here. They moved slowly, the lantern swaying, shadows stretching across cracked tiles. Silas led with his axe. Mira followed, clutching the lantern so tightly her knuckles bled white. Kara drifted at the rear, humming under her breath, her eyes wide with something close to rapture. The tunnel forked. Jonas's tracks veered left into darkness. Silas paused. Could be a trap. Jonas isn't trapping us, Mira snapped. Not him, Silas said. His voice was low, sharp. Whatever's down here, whatever's breathing, Kara giglet softly. It's not a trap. It's a mouth. And we're already inside. Myra's throat closed. She raised the lantern higher, but the shadows only thickened. Left, she said, forcing steel into her voice. We followed Jonas. Silas grunted but moved. The deeper they went, the stranger the tunnel became. Frost coated the walls in ridges, like ribs pressing outward from inside. Patterns branched across the ceiling, curling like veins. The air grew warmer, moist, dripping from overhead in steady drops that echoed like heartbeats. Mira brushed her hand against the wall. The frost wasn't cold. It was soft, pliant like skin stretched too thin. She yanked her hand back while rising. Keep moving, Silas growled. But Mira couldn't shake the feeling that the tunnel was alive. That was breathing with them. They found Jonas on the tracks. He was kneeling in the dark, shotgun at his side, his breath fogging the air. At first, Mira felt relief rush through her. But as they approached, she saw his eyes. Wide, staring, fixed on nothing. Jonas? She whispered. He didn't answer. Silas raised his axe cautiously. Something's wrong. Mira knelt beside him. His lips were moving, words spilling out too faint to hear. She leaned closer, straining. Not alone. The words crawled across her skin. Jonas blinked, finally seeing her. His hand shot forward, seizing her wrist with shocking strength. We're inside it, he rasped. The city, the tunnels. It's alive. His grip tightened, bone grinding against bone. It's not breathing with us. We're breathing for it. Mira tore free, stumbling back. Her lantern clattered, light skittering across the frost-veined walls. Silas stepped forward, axe raised. He's mad. He'll get us killed. No. Mira snapped, though fear gripped her throat. Kara only laughed, swaying in the dark. He finally hears the song. Jonas lurched upright, shotgun in hand. His eyes burned with something wild. No one leaves, he whispered. If you leave, it follows. If you stay, it eats. Those are the rules. The silence after his words was worse than the breathing. They pressed deeper, Jonas stumbling at the front now, muttering to himself. Silas trailed close behind, his eyes cold, calculating. The tunnel widened into a chamber, its ceiling lost in shadow. The walls pulsed faintly, frost veins glowing with a dim light like embers beneath ice. The air was thick, humid, reeking of rot. In the center lay something Mira couldn't name. A mound of ice, half transparent, inside of which twisted shapes writhed. Pale limbs, faces frozen in silent screams. A dozen bodies, or more, intertwined, locked in an eternal exhale. Eli was among them. His hollow eyes stared from the ice, lips parted as though still praying. Mira staggered back, ball rising in her throat. Jonas dropped to his knees. It keeps them, keeps all of us. See, the snow never lets go. We all come back. We all breathe together. Silas spat, raising his axe. It's nothing but ice and corpses. We break it, we burn it, we move on. Try, Jonas rasped. See what wakes. The mound shifted. Mira froze. The bodies inside twitched, mouths opening wider. A sound poured out. Not voices, not wind, but a chorus of breathing. Louder now, deafening. The frost veins on the walls throbbed in rhythm. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Silas cursed, swinging his axe into the mound. The blade cracked the ice, splinters flying. The chamber exhaled. The lantern guttered, shadows writhing across the walls. Mira screamed as the mound split, arms clawing outward, pale and boneless. Faces stretched against melting ice, mouths yawning wider than jaws should allow. Jonas fired. The shotgun blast shattered one figure, sending shards of flesh ice spraying. But more arms pushed through, writhing, reaching. Kara laughed until her voice cracked. It's awake. It's awake. Run. Mira shrieked. They fled down a side tunnel. The sound of breathing pursuing, echoing, filling every corner. Behind them, the chamber cracked and groaned, collapsing in a storm of ice and flesh. They ran until their legs gave way, collapsing in a narrower passage. The walls here pulsed faintly, wet and slick. The breathing was softer now, but constant, threading through their bones. Mira gasped for air, clutching her chest. What was that? Jonas stared into the dark, shotgun trembling in his hands. The heart. Silas snarled. There is no heart, no city alive, just ice and madness. Then explain what you saw. Mira snapped. Silas's silence was answer enough. Kara only rocked back and forth, humming tunelessly. It'll choose who to keep, one by one, until only the song remains. Mira pressed her hands to her ears, but the breathing never stopped.